Hi, I'm Dennis Phillips, and welcome to Everyday Reloading and Shooting.
There's a link in the description below to where I was previously shooting these loads with Varget powder and H4350, and I'm focusing on developing loads for the Varget powder. The best groups that I had were at 33.6 grains, and I shot a .93 extreme spread and a best 4 out of 5 at .41. I also shot an extreme spread of .67 with the best 4 out of 5 at .51 using 35.5 grains of Varget powder. So what I'm doing is those are going to be in the middle of my loads, and so I am going to be loading these. So where I had the best load here at 33.6, I'm going to go 33.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, and 34. And then here, where my best load was 35.5, I'm going to be loading at 35.1, 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, and 0.9. So on these two loads, I'll be going just above and just below my best loads, 4 grains each. And I have my loading block set up, and I've got it marked out for the loads to be dispensed. And I will be loading these using my Hornady Chargemaster Pro. So I will be loading these with Alpha Munitions 4x fired brass, and we'll also be using Winchester 41 primers as well. And again, it's with the Hornady 140 grain ELD Match bullet and Varget powder. And I have again loaded 140 grain ELD Match bullet. I'm using Alpha 4x fired brass with Winchester 41 primers, Varget powder, and I'm going from just below to just above those two groups. So I'll be shooting groups at 33.2, 33.4, 0.6, 0.8, and 34, and then I'm going to jump and shoot groups at 35.1, 35.3, 0.5, 35.7, and 35.9. And we will see if we can find a node in there somewhere with some tight grouping. So we're going to take those to the range today, and we'll see how they perform. In the description below, there's a link to a video where I recently tested Varget powder compared with Hodgson's H4350. I was looking for a load specifically for that Varget powder, and I found two loads that shot pretty well at 33.6 and 35.5. So I've gone in 2/10 grain increments, loading just below and just above those two loads. So I'm going to shoot these and see how they compare. I am shooting today. I came off without my rear rest for my 6.5 Creedmoor, so I'm going to be using some rolled up towels. So this will probably have a bearing on how well I shoot, and so I'll go ahead and give you that as my excuse up front now. Hopefully it won't have a big impact on my performance here, but you're welcome to enjoy the music while I fast forward through my shooting. That should take about a minute and a half, or you can skip forward to the results at the end. Shooting at 100 yards. Let's go. All right, so some of these grouped very well. So let's bring them in and have a look. All right, so these first three shots were to warm the barrel and to make sure I had the rifle sighted in properly. I didn't need to make any scope adjustments, so this is what we got. It's probably just over an inch, right at an inch with a very tight 4 out of 5. That's probably about an inch. That's probably an inch and a quarter, inch and a third. Little scattered here. Little scattered here. Got a really tight group here at 35.3 grains. And this was the charge weight that I was working off of, 35.5 on the previous target. That shot under an inch. That's probably 0.7 or so. 35.7, those were scattered. And then my last group here, 35.9. Those are pretty much all touching. That's probably about a 0.6 inch group. But we will take them home, measure them, and see how they compare. So what we decided to do was load another group of rounds going just below and just above those two nodes that we found when we were testing against the H4350. So the starting point there was 33.6 grains, and we went 2 grains and 4 grains below, and we went 2 grains and 4 grains above that particular load. Now, at 33.6, which was the load that we were working off of, we had an extreme spread of 0.88 and a best 4 out of 5 at 0.75, compared with previously having an extreme spread of 0.93 and a best 4 out of 5 at 0.91. So it grouped similarly. But just prior to that, we had a group with an extreme spread of 0.75 and a best 4 out of 5 at 0.62 inches. That was at 33.4 grains. At 33.2, we had an extreme spread of 98 and a best 4 out of 5 at 87. And then at 33.8 grains, we were pretty spread out at 1.23 with a best 4 out of 5 at 0.80. And then when we loaded the next higher load above that, at 34 grains, we were still spread out at 1.18 inches and a best 4 out of 5 at 0.75. In the second load that we found, which was here at 35.5 grains, and at that charge weight, at 35.5 grains, it improved a little bit. It went from 0.67 to 0.63, and our best 4 out of 5 went from 0.51 to 0.33. We had a good group just below that as well. At 35.3 grains, we had an extreme spread of 0.69 and a best 4 out of 5 at 0.35. And then above that, at 35.1 grains, we had a pretty scattered group at 1.60 with the best 4 out of 5 at 0.92. Coming on down, at 35.7 grains, we had an extreme spread of 1.23 with the best 4 out of 5 at 0.94. But then at just a little bit higher charge weight, we had a group of, at 35.9 grains, we had a group of 0.55 inches and the best 4 out of 5 at 0.40. So these were my best groups of the day at the higher charge weights, where we were shooting 35.3, 35.5, and 35.9 grains. Not sure what happened here, why that opened up, because on either side of that, we had really good groups at the 35.9 and at the 35.5. But at 35.7, it was kind of spread out. But sometimes you just have to find that magic node. So it appears that our best group of the day was at the highest charge weight that we used at 35.9, which gave us an extreme spread of 0.55 and the best 4 out of 5 at 0.40. When we were testing this before, we went up to 36.4 grains, and it was okay. It had an extreme spread of 9.3 and a best 4 out of 5 at 0.59, but it does seem like the Varget powder prefers the higher charge weights with this 140 grain ELD Match bullet. So I'm going to recommend that if you're going to be shooting Varget and 140 grain ELD Match in your 6.5 Creedmoor, that you take a look at these two loads here at 35.5 to 35.9 grains. Now, I understand every rifle shoots differently and every rifle has a different twist rate, and this may not work for you, but I suspect it may do well and you may find something close. If 35.5 grains doesn't work, maybe 35.7 would, maybe 35.4 would. But in any event, these are my results, and I'm very pleased. And so I'm sure I will be loading more of these at the 35.9 and 35.5 charge weights. Okay, so those are my results. There you go. So if you have any ideas or thoughts about this video, please feel free to leave a comment below. Or if there's anything that you would like to see in the future, please let me know that. I always try to interact with everyone who comments. And I hope that you will like and share this with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.